So there we were. There I was in my deepest, darkest hour, joining the gym, my life falling apart days after joining the gym, and being very grateful, mind you, that nobody actually knew me there except for like 3 people, and, 3 very supportive people who I also was crying with regularly. But
Naturally.
I'm like, I show up one day or night, I don't know. I was just like a shell of a person kind of going. I was like, I'll just like go to work and then the gym and then home and then work and then the gym and then home because like what else am I gonna do? And I remember Joe coming up to me and he's like, hey, like high energy. He's like, what's up? Like, hey Liz, how are you? Like, hey, where's your wife? And I was like, I don't know. Do you? He's like, "Where's your wife?" Like, "Oh," and I was like, "I don't know. Do you?" And he's like, "Oh God, oh, I'm sorry. Are you guys not? This is a really hard part of my job, and if is there anything?" I was like, and I just like was staring at him, and like, poor guy, just trying to like,
I could just see the frantic, like, deer in headlights look on his face, like,
yes, just
"What did
awkward
I
tap dancing
accidentally say?"
away. He's like, "I gotta go. Like, this is. I'm so sorry." My friend was like, she's like, "Wow, he handled that relatively well, given the situation. You made that really awkward." I was like, "Did I? What?" And he's like, "Oh, why don't you go work with Brooke over there?" And like, and then there you were,
There I was, quite
arriving.
shallow in the trenches at this point, truly, like, I don't think
Just the
in
entryway, just the
hindsight,
foyer.
I was, like, pretty like, yeah, we were in the trenches, but not that bad, and just, like, chaos. Like, I was frantic, unwell, but, like, yeah,
Yeah,
just frantic.
it was actually a good. It's funny
It was,
because
like,
our energy is kind of opposite. Like, well, I don't know, we're the same and different. Like both extremely
high
anxious
strung.
and yeah, well, especially, like, when we would arrive at the gym after work,
Yeah.
given the day that we just had, and my life in shambles apart. That was always kind of the case, still is. But it was like, we were just like, "Okay." And I remember I thought you knew my friends because I just saw you walking by the girl I joined with, and I was like, "Oh, they're friends. She must be safe."
I met
I'm
her once. Love her
When
now.
I know, Brooke. I was like, "That's the one I'll be friends with,
We
and
just
nobody else."
it was like a I don't know what they call that, but, like, we were on the same level and just connected.
No, all that literally all that happened is Joe was like, "Hey, Brooke," and I was like, "Brooke, friend." I was like, "Yes." And I just like, thank God I like you because
Yeah, no, I mean, little does Joe know he started this
he
podcast.
did, he did. He is responsible for this.
Yeah.
He thinks that we forgot he's gonna be our first guest, but he's going to be our first guest. So there we were, and you were like, "Oh yeah, this was like."
This is, like, a week after no, it was probably a little longer than a week because I broke my finger, so I couldn't hold on to anything.
Why are we always
Um,
broken? That's not even why we're crying at the gym.
literally.
I'm like, just
But my dog had just gotten attacked by another dog, and obviously I had to intervene, and so my hand was, like, swollen for quite some time, but only my finger was broken. And so I took, like, a week off the gym also because I was stressed because she was, like, drugged out of her mind, and I was like, "Oh my god, did she, like, rip open her stitches every day after work?" So I would, like,
yeah.
rush home, and then finally I was like, "Okay, I can go to the gym again."
Dog mom anxiety is like, it's not talked about enough. I'm just
No.
saying, like, that's real.
It was so stressful. I was like,
As a new single mom of a dog, it's very stressful. So I meet you. I'm like, she's an anxious dog mom, and it looks like she hates her job. You can cut that out. Sorry.
and it looks like,
It
"Please."
looks like we have a lot in common, is all.
Spoiler alert, we did.
We did, and we do. And I don't know, like, perhaps very cathartic. This is why we are here, like, after all of those moments of, like, what do I do with all that just happened to me today?
You
Like,
know yeah, and I think we just, like, both, like I mean, after we met each other once, and then we were emotionally attached naturally.
immediately.
And then every day we would come after work to the 5:30 class. Shout out Joe.
Those were the days. It was, like,
Yeah.
consistent because
Mhm.
I had nothing going on in my life, and if I was injured, I probably didn't feel it. Now I have feelings again.
And now
Oh,
so
humanity, having feelings. It's hard.
but yeah, so we would come in same time, and it was, like, the one I think, like, also over time, like, you were the one person I consistently recognized, and so I was like, "Safe space," and
Yeah.
just, like, latched on, and, like, slowly, we became closer and closer. Obviously, it took a little bit of time because, like, we had, like, 5 seconds to talk during the class.
No, yeah, it was just, like, dry heaves and, like, "Brooke." What? Dog. Like, this is just, like this is what
Yeah.
I remember of my brain at the time. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I had. I was like, "Work, gym, Brooke,
It's just, like,
dog."
safe space, and, like, we would be like, "Ah, here we
No,
are."
it was several months of,
Yeah.
like, we're friends, but, like, we never hung out. People thought we were more friends than we were. In fact, when
In
we
fact.
on our first friend date, when we were out and about in the world, we're like, "Oh, do you wanna hang out?" It was so official. We went to a restaurant. We ran into all these girls from the gym. This is actually, like, in the movie of our life, it's like, uh, this was me challenging myself to be social and be a human again.
Well, and, like, also, like, for context, so we're like, "Okay, first friend date, let's go." I remember I got to your house, you had all these empty photo frames. I had no idea what you had just been through,
Me neither.
and so, like, I
Have
had
not
0
resonated.
yeah, but I had 0 like, that is the level that we knew each other at this
It's true, and
time.
we had known each other for months.
Yeah, and then we get to this restaurant and run into all these girls from the gym, and they're like, "Oh my god, like, how long have you been, like, close? How do you know each other? Blah, 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 blah," and we're like, "We just met."
We don't. This is our first date.
We're
But
like
it's actually funnier how we weren't even in the restaurant yet, and they were like, we were just passersby, and they were like, "Hey, will you take a picture for us?" And I was like, "Sure." And they're like, "You go to our gym." And I was like, "You go to our gym." That was amazing though. And I this is how we always talk about how like I seem like an extrovert, but I'm really an introvert.
yes.
And mainly because I don't get energy after. I love talking to people
Yeah.
and very social, but then I'm like, "Whoo, I'm tired." And so they were like, it was like I was challenging myself to be around one person and do one thing for a short period of time. I was like, "I can do this, just like one interaction." And then it was like, what, 5 of us, and
I think
love
more,
them.
yeah.
So glad that happened, but I was like, "Hey, hey,
At
hey,
but,
hey."
like, at the time, it's also, like I'm like I think we were both in the same boat, like, we're like, "How do we even get to know these people who are, like" they're already best friends. We're like
And then we go to the bar. We were gonna go, "Oh, let's have a snack and go to the bar." And then I was like, "I think I'll go home now." I was like, "I have to go home. Uh, I'm tired.
honestly,
Help."
it was a blessing.
Yeah.
That was a long night.
That is kind of funny that you came to my house. All the photo frames were empty. Also, remember you being like, "Oh." It's like I could see in that moment you knew you didn't know me, and I also became aware that nobody did unless they had known me, which was, 1, refreshing at the time because I was going through something really hard and my life was in a big transition, so
Yeah.
there is something to be said about being around people who don't know you that well, but
Yeah.
are kind and, like, a healthy outlet, but it is weird to be like, "Oh, yeah, that? Oh, did you not know
And
oh."
I don't even think I, like, had even thought like, we had, like, been bonding, but I don't even like, I had no context, like, I mean, when we met, I thought you were just, like, very shy, and then little did I know in hindsight, I'm like, "Yes, she was catatonic." But, like
Yes, she was catatonic.
but at the time, I was like, "Oh, she's just shy," and then when we obviously, like, went out and then spent all this time with people, I was like, "Oh my god, so much, like, energy expended." So,
Well, I
very
went from
introverted.
catatonic to manic, so
Yeah, and
I
now
don't
here we are.
I don't want I don't wanna brag, but I have multiple personalities. I yeah, well, also you were like, "Oh, you're how old?" And I was like, "Okay, first of all,
I forgot I
it's"
yeah.
you're like, "Wow." And I was like, also realizing I knew nothing about you. I was like, "Why? How old are you?" Yeah, I'm
We're like,
almost like a
"Oh,
decade older than Brooke, but
like,
we'll
8
get into why
years."
it's a really positive thing to have
Yeah.
multi-generational friends.
No.
And I was telling my other friend from like my last gym who was like the big sister friend, like not that maybe I'm not really setting an example, but she was like my older friend only by like maybe somewhere between like 5 and 10 years. I don't actually know how old she is, but she was a master's athlete. And then what we do is what it's kind of like being geriatric in pregnancies. It's like 35 and above is a master's athlete. So you're
No.
like, oh, that's an older athlete, which I fall into that category now.
Well, no, but at the
But
time you
like,
were 34.
that's true. Was I even? Yes, I was. I
Or
had just, yeah, I
yeah.
had just turned 34. And I remember, like, talking to that friend, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Joanne," I was like, "I'm the you at this gym, like, I have, like, friends who are, like, 8 years younger than me, and I have friends who are, like, 8 years older than me." I was like, "I'm, like, the in-between person." So that, but also for content what we do to work out I know, I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
because we planned for this podcast just to be for our moms and, like, maybe 7 people who said they would listen.
So we met while crying at a CrossFit gym. And so naturally, as you would imagine, like there's not a lot of downtime during the workouts too. So it's like we were just like working out near each other and like sometimes together in a partner workout. And that's how we then we were friends, but knew nothing about each other.
Yeah, and for those who are like who don't for all of our listener who d
Our singular listeners.
who don't know, much about CrossFit or, like, the style of that is, like, whatever the reputation it is, like, it is intense, and it is I am always hurt. I mean, that's just, like, a personal choice, but it was like but I am mentally well-er
Because of it.
because of it, and
Yeah.
it's like the point of it is not I'm not, like, so committed to one style of workout, it's just, like, for me, it was and I think for you too, like, we bonded over this, is, like,
Yeah.
we just needed somewhere that wasn't, like, getting up, going to work, cooking dinner, going to bed, getting up, going to work. It was like, I need to do something active, and I need to be around people. I don't necessarily need to
Yeah.
talk to anyone, and preferably, especially during that time, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But that and those were the days, because then we moved over to Ollie, so now more so Olympic weightlifting and da for me anyway, and dabbling in CrossFit here
I
and
feel
there.
yeah, I feel I do a healthy or I don't know, maybe not healthy, but a solid mix.
Very hesitant on this unwellness podcast to talk about healthy choices. Uh,
But no,
a
I
choice
think
we perceived as healthy.
and I think well, I guess to start, like I joined CrossFit because I was in law school during COVID, and so I was doing you're like, "That's crazy."
All I know about
The
you in law
timeline.
school is that you were in the trenches deep.
I was deeper in the trenches than I was when we went.
Yes.
It's like a bell curve. Except
We need a
flipped.
graphic.
Yeah.
I need a graphic of this. Where at what point where
So
in the
I would say,
trenches? I
like,
need the map of the trenches.
I wasn't quite so when I joined law school or when I joined law school, when I joined a CrossFit gym, I was in law school in COVID. We were doing online classes, but also, like, the world was shut down. So, like, I wasn't really meeting people outside of my classes and
That's rough.
outside of, like, the people I already knew in that city. And, I was just going to like doing my online classes every morning, hanging out with my dog, seeing these like same 5 people every day,
No
and then
offense.
going to a gym where I just did like the same thing I did when I swam when I was younger and stuff like that. So I was spending all of my time alone. And
Yeah.
then I was like, I really need one to be able to go to a place, move my body, and not have to think. And that's why I really like CrossFit, is because someone's telling me what to do.
That
If
part.
I don't even have to fully listen, I can just look around the room and be like, oh, okay, this is
So
what
all the
this is.
coaches who are mad we don't listen. We have a reason. I just simply
It's
cannot
too
absorb. It's like
much.
we're like, "No, we came because we want you to tell us what to do." And then I'm like, "What'd you say?" I'm like, I'm not doing that." Like,
They're
not
like,
even on purpose. I'm like, "What? I'm sorry, I can't absorb any more new information today."
and I feel like it's very, like, I mean, still applicable in today. I'm
But that's
like,
like
I
I
do the
mean,
same
we're both,
thing.
like, experienced in, like, working out.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, if you're a new athlete and you join, it's like pay attention
Yeah.
because
Y
it's to keep you safe.
we are not the example.
No, don't be like us.
Don't, no.
That is like that could be a series. Don't be like me. Hard lessons.
But, I like to do Ollie because it helps a lot translate to a lot of CrossFit things, but I can only do it so many days a week where I have the mental capacity. So that's why I say healthy balance
Yeah.
because on days where I just, like, I can't, I go to
Yeah,
CrossFit.
CrossFit is giving like caveman. I'm like, I can't like should be thinking more, but I know I can physically do most of those things without thinking as much as like if you're doing a snatch or a clean and jerk, don't be dirty. A snatch is a legitimate movement if you're not in that community. Um, if you're doing a snatch, it's like you have to think like it's one lift and you have to think about 900 things. And at the end of a day, and bless the coaches for being like, hey, now change this and change that. And you're like, okay. And you're like, okay, change that while you're thinking of every other. It is very hard
Yeah.
after like a work day. So I'm like, on days, either a Friday, I'm not so burnt out, or I like
Mhm.
worked from home the second part of the day. Anyway,
Over that time, we both also just bonded over, like, CrossFit was our healthy outlet, but we also just needed more of a creative outlet and just kinda somewhere to talk it out because we had a lot of thoughts to say, but not a lot of time during, the gym to
and
say
like,
those
who can you
thoughts.
tell? You're like,
Everyone at the gym was like, "Shut up and just, like, do what you're supposed to do." So I think our biggest goal was just to, like, have, like, a nice little, like, community and just hash it out. Like, everyone's going through, like, the same but different things, obviously, like, everyone's circumstances are unique, but I think as you talk, you realize how many people are going through similar experiences.
yeah, I remember, and when we were like, "Oh, let's start a podcast," hee hee, so silly, and I was like, "Well, I mean, whatever, yeah, why not?" Like, it'll feel like we're doing something, yes, that satisfies that creative itch. You're just like, I need something, and I need somewhere to express or talk out these thoughts, ideas. Like, is it just me? Like, but or
Literally.
like, is this it? Like, is this what your
Is
life
this what
is?
the
I
rest
know
of
it
my
sounds
yeah.
depressing, but it's like literally everyone is trying to figure out the meaning of life, and there's a reason for that. And I'm extremely determined to get to the bottom. I'm like, every day I'm like, I've cracked the code.
I've cracked the code, but
I've
I
cracked the
have
code. I'm
not.
pretty sure. No, I'm like, it's worse because I'm like, no, I've got it this time. And then I'm like, no, actually, I was wrong again. Tomorrow, though, I'm gonna have the right.
You know,
Yeah.
every day, as we say often, every day we have new information.
Quick anecdote. So we just finished doing a CrossFit competition. Our team name, personality picks, totally appropriate.
What
Uh,
personalities, you might ask?
alternate name going forward, maybe.
Chaos goblins.
Yeah,
That's
that's
more
how it went. Wait, why was I starting to talk about this?
we
Oh,
learn new information.
so we go into it's a team of 3 females, that's what we did, and, one of the events were like some of them were like, "Oh, man, slicey dicey, it's not, like, our strongest, but we'll get through." Okay, just to set the scene, Brooke had pneumonia, I had a, like,
You had a back
borderline
injury.
back injury. I was like, may or may not have blown my back out
did
2
blow your
days
back
before.
out.
I was like, it's fine, we'll just find out when we're warming up on Saturday." And, so we go, into the one event we think we're going to we're like, "No, we're pretty
This
solid
is the
here."
event we should have done well, in all of the other events, we were just
We're
showing
like,
up.
"We spent all this time doing Olympic weightlifting. It's just a lift. Like, we got this."
We just have to lift, like,
We go in, we don't
close.
got it. We
Yeah.
do so bad. Like the worst we could do other than just not putting points up on the board, we just walked away like,
Worse than not showing up.
yes, worse than that.
Which
Kelly,
we which we
Kelly,
always did.
okay, Kelly, another
This will
guest
be
who
our
will appear.
second guest.
Our third teammate Kelly, who actually slayed and she made us better, even though she did not show up, but it was not her fault for the last event. She did show up, just you
After
know.
it started.
So we we got through this event and we're just like jaws dropped. Like Brooke is like, I've never seen you actually sad or disappointed in that way. Like I've seen you
Yeah.
like super frustrated and like like the whole world's falling
Yeah.
apart, but like disappointed in yourself like that. I was like, oh, you were like
I was like, I let my
really sad. I just it is really we'll have to like post the videos. It is actually savage because I'm in the background like kind of laughing, but I'm like, I'm just so shocked and I
I'm
laughed
sh
when I'm
No,
uncomfortable.
it's funny in hindsight because it's like,
It made
I
no
was fit
sense because
like,
you do that lift all the time.
and I was feeling a lower weight than I was planning on starting at.
Yeah, we put, what, 60 or 70 points less on the board collectively than we did when we practiced it. Anyway,
In less
moving on. We're
in
not still thinking about it.
in less time. In
Oh,
2 minutes
yeah,
less time.
in 2 minutes less time.
Yeah.
So, all we could say after that was, like, I will say we were quite resilient after, um, we were a little sad, then we got a beer, and then we were like, "We now have
New
new information."
information, and
And
yeah,
yeah, that's the point. Like,
and that's
after having all these, like, failures and then, like, talking about it and kinda, like, getting through it, it's like, well, now we have more information. We now know what we don't want, what doesn't work, and at some point, we will run out of we will
yeah.
find the thing
Well, and, like, whether
that
yeah, and I feel like it's
makes
so
sense.
applicable to, like, whether it's your career, a specific job, like, even, like, your relationship or, like, a friendship, like, there are so many things where you could say, like, "Hey, I thought I started my dream job," and, like, after, say, like, months or, like, years go by, you're like, "Huh, I have a lot new information, and, like, this ain't it," but you did learn a ton along the way to kinda, like, guide you going further
Mm,
and, like or in
yeah,
the future, but, so I think that's
and
really,
we're
like
just, like, right in the middle. We're in it. We're, like, right in the middle, and so is, like, all of our peers.
yeah.
How many people are you kinda talking about the same thing to, and everyone's like,
Well, and I feel like since we've said we were gonna start this podcast, so many people have been like, "Oh my god, like, XYZ," or, like, like, there's so many people who are like, "Yes, I would love that because, like, I'm going through this with my job," or, like, "I'm going through this in, like, my, like, personal life," or, like,
yeah,
with my health. So it's like
yeah, we're gonna get through it somehow,
so we're
some
gonna
way.
try and get through it together. We make no promises.
Oh, we will. I mean, we're just gonna have to break it down. It's
It's
just gonna be like, today we're talking about this. I know, like, for one, for starters, why do we even need these outlets, right? Like, why are we always looking for something different or extra or on the side that's going to fulfill us or make us happy when everything we do should be that?
Yeah, and I think that's, like, the whole kind of the whole point of why we wanted to do this. It's just, like, we're seeking some fulfillment, but also, like, to help everyone else seek some fulfillment,
Yeah.
maybe. And,
Just
really
make
kind of a
life
journey of,
more
like
purposeful.
yeah, like, want to enjoy the life you're living because we only get one life. Not to sound
Not the
so freaking
YOLO.
cliche.
And I'm old.
Oh, I
Wow.
wasn't even thinking YOLO. I was thinking, like, you only live, like
I thought you
you
were gonna
only
say
have
that, and I was
one
like,
life.
I can't say that
Yeah.
because
No, I was thinking, like, you
it's
only have,
too
like
cringe of a millennial
you're born
to
and then you
say.
die, like
I always say, like, I used to say this to, to my employees in retrospect. I'm like, is this super dark? But I was like, life just keeps lifing till you die.
Yeah,
But it does,
it
really.
really does. So, hopefully we're
Why
here,
did we just end that on a live, cry, die moment? We're like, live, laugh, love. Live,
but we're
cry, die.
here to be less live, cry, die.
Less live, cry, die.
That's our goal. So, hopefully
Live, cry. I mean, we will die.
die. Yeah, it's inevitable.
Mm,
Join us every Wednesday, while we explore all the things. A lot of career stuff, a lot of just like life stuff. But we'll be here every Wednesday. You could also find us on Instagram and TikTok at We Are Crying at the Gym. But
yeah. And if
mhm,
you know anyone who wants to listen or follow that you
who is
think,
also reporting live from the trenches like we are.
right, um, go ahead and share with them and
In the
bear with
meantime,
us while we work out the kinks.
in
We're
the
doing
me-
our best. That's
no,
all
this
anyone can
is
ask for.
yeah, this is the third time we've recorded this episode, but we're trying our best out here.
Yeah.
Um,
Kelly? I'm not over it.
she's gonna be like, who? She's gonna be like, why do you guys keep talking about me? But in the meantime, we'll be crying at the gym, and that's where you can find us.
Okay, bye.